Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly remove acrylic nails. So the first step is you can either use a nail clipper like I'm using, or you can use a nail cutter. But the first step is to just basically get these long tips off and try to cut them as short as you can, because taking off the long nails, it's just gonna save time. Like, you don't want to waste product by trying to soak all of that long nail off. So we're cutting these off, but you also want to be careful. One, if the client wants their natural nails long, you can look underneath to see where to cut them, like right before the natural nail. And two, the hyponychium, which is the living skin under the natural nail, you want to make sure that you don't cut that, because I actually accidentally went too short on someone before, and I did make them bleed by doing that. So you want to make sure that you are very careful and you cut them down as short as you can, but still keep a little bit of space just to be safe. Then I take my nippers and I just try to take off any diamonds that I can. I don't try too hard because I will get them off eventually, and let me tell y'all, my diamonds stay. Okay, so it's very difficult for me to get them off. But right here, yeah, I just go through and try to get them off. Also, as I try to get them off, I just go around the tip and around the cuticle area and just try to see if there's any lifting areas, because that'll help speed the process up as well. And you'll see me do that on the other hand while I'm trying to take off the diamonds. Once I'm done checking for any lifting, I then take my e-file and I'm just going to go finger by finger. For the diamonds, I'm just going back and forth with the e-file and the nippers, and with the e-file, I'm kind of filing around the gel that I attached with the diamonds, and then that kind of makes it loose enough for me to just nip them off. But also, while I'm doing that, I'm just going through filing off the top coat and filing off all the colored acrylic. If you watch my other videos, you see that I put a clear coat of acrylic underneath the color, and I'm basically going to file down all the colored acrylic until I get to that clear spot, and then that is what we're going to soak off. I'll explain a little bit later on. Instead of filing completely all of the clear off, you don't want to do that because you don't want to touch the natural nail with the e-file. So you want to just file until you get to that clear spot. And filing all of this off instead of soaking it off is just much better, because it makes the process much faster. And of course, I did the same thing to the other hand. I didn't put everything in the video because it's just way too long, but you get the picture. Then I go ahead and wipe all the dust off and make sure everything is cleaned up. And she's now ready to soak her nails in the acetone. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ready. I take 2 bowls, one bigger than the other, and I pour water into the bigger one and just enough to make sure that the smaller bowl can fit without the water overlapping, which you'll see me test. And the water should be hot, but I don't like to wait for the water to be hot, so you'll see me put the bowl with the water into the microwave. And this time I put it in for 30 seconds, but usually I like to put it in for like a minute because you really want that water super hot, super, you know, like maybe even boiling, because this isn't touching the fingernails, so it's safe if it's boiling. I test the water just to make sure it's hot enough. Then I take the bowl out and I bring it over to my table. I place the smaller bowl in. Then I take my 100% pure acetone. I got this from Sally's Beauty Supply Store. This big bottle was like $15. I pour some in, and the acetone is super cold, but the hot water will allow the acetone to warm up, which allows the process to move much faster, because cold usually freezes, making the acrylic hard, but warm will make the acrylic softer and allows it to just move so much faster. Then I allow the client to keep her fingernails in there for a good 10 minutes until I take them out again. Once 10 minutes has passed, I go ahead and I take one of her hands out first. And I like to use my orange wood stick so that I can just dispose of it after. I use a new one for every client. And I lightly just push the
but you know, babies are born
soap
lighter. Like
acrylic off. You don't want to push too hard, because I had one client where she was trying to do it herself and she was trying to like rip it off from underneath, and that just pulled her nails off, made her bleed and all that. You don't want to do that. You want to go on top and just push off whatever is gooey and can come off.
Lauren London type of color. I don't think Lauren London is, she's not caramel, impossible. Yeah. You know, she's like a lighter, whatever. Or just cinnamon neon, like that. Yeah, no. Oh my god, you using London costume when you came in? Yeah. Oh, that's her? Okay. No offense to her, but she ain't really do much, if you want to be honest. Her career is just mainly because of her beauty. That's the only reason she's so relevant, because she still looks the same. And she does have a fine ass French guy. Ooh. I don't know, he's dark skin? No, he's like white. He's French, like, French can be dark skin too, right? Yeah,
And since it's so gooey, not everything is going to come off with the orange wood stick, so I like to just go through with the file and make sure that all of the excess is off, but that's not going to get everything. You know, there's still hard acrylic on it. So once I'm done with this and doing this on the other hand as well, I like to let the client soak her fingernails for another 10 minutes in the acetone.
Nigeria, England took over them, and then we became independent October 1st, 1955. Wow, you're smart. I had a choice. I'm stupid ass studying. And so somebody went to school, and you're probably down because, bruh, I can't retain all of that information we learned. Oh, I can't retain anything. I do not have a good memory at all. Yeah, I'm just sharp, like, I have a thing for researching what I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If you say a word that I didn't understand or not, take that out. Yeah, I'm gonna put that one in. If you said a word I don't understand or don't know, I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna probably use it again, just so I can understand that word. Yeah. I'm looking at using big words, so you can understand. Doug hates it. He's like, why not use that? I love it. So we're arguing. I'm like, you freaking hypocrite. He's like, okay, yeah, but maybe I'm no, we're not. Yes, you are. No, what I mean. I'm gonna define it. I can't find it right now, but I will. Okay. What word did we use? Oh, I used the word petite, and he's like, what is that? You remember that? I was talking about me and my sister, because my sister, she used to be like really chubby when she was like a teenager, and now that she's pregnant, like she can gain weight quicker. When me, I've always been tiny. I've never had a time where I've been like fat. So, and I was like, well, I've always been petite my whole life, and he's like, what? Like really? I said small, like tiny. He's like, so I can't just say that. Why can't you be great? Why? I show a great amount of tenacity when I'm doing things, and he was like, yeah. I was like, that's tenacity. And he was just like, to be honest, I don't know. I said, tenacity is me ask him, what does that word mean now? Like, I was trying to drill it into his head. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's good. Like, that's bonus that he like, don't use that word. Complacency. I use that on him. You know what I mean? No. When you're comfortable with being comfortable. Okay. That's fast. It's very bad to be complacent. That's like somebody being... Oh, I've heard that word, complacent. I'm not even that one. Complacency is, it's like, I live in a place, I've lived here my dad, I believe he's very complacent. He's too comfortable and doesn't see growth. Doesn't want to pass. Like, you know, when you see, company like that.
Once 10 more minutes has passed of the fingernail soaking, I go ahead and repeat the process that I just did. And by this time, because of the fact that we did file all the colored acrylic off and we made the acrylic that was left super thin, this time all the acrylic did come off. I didn't have to let her soak another time, but usually if you made the acrylic any thicker, you would have to soak even longer. And because all the acrylic is off, the next step is to just go through and push the cuticles back. After soaking is basically like a mini manicure that you're doing to the natural nails. But since the client wants a new set, we're not going to go all the way through with it, which I'll explain a little bit later. Next, I'm just filing the nails with my hand file and shaping up the size and the shape of the nails. And if she did want to keep her natural nails out, I would make the shape a little bit more better. But since I'm just putting tips and acrylic right back on, it's not that big of a deal. But you do want to make sure that it is still short, because having a long free edge under the acrylic and putting tips on a long free edge can lead to breaking the nail. And since she is getting a new full set on her natural nails, I do go through and file as if I'm prepping for acrylic application, which I did make a video on that, and I'll have it in the description box below. But you just want to make sure that you're getting the whole acrylic nail bed, you know, the sides and everything, and making sure that all the oils are off. Then I go ahead and make sure all the dust is off. But if she did want to just keep her natural nails, the next steps would be to buff the natural nail and then to add like a natural nail base coat and top coat. But since she's getting a full set on top of this, my next steps would just be to size the nail tips, you know, put the nail tips on or whatever. And if you want to know the rest of that, the link is in my description box below. Thank you everybody for watching. Like, comment, subscribe.